Have you ever wondered why some people seem genuinely joyful, even when life isn't perfect? Not fake smiling, not temporarily excited, but deeply, consistently content. And then there are others who seem stuck in stress, frustration, or emotional exhaustion, even when things are objectively going okay. What creates that difference? It's not just money, it's not just personality, and it's definitely not just luck. More often than not, it's habits. Today on Mindset Bloom, we're breaking down 7 powerful habits that separate joyful people from non-joyful people, backed by psychology. Welcome back to Mindset Bloom, where growth becomes a lifestyle. Before we dive in, let's clear up a common misconception. Joyful people are not joyful because their lives are problem-free. They still face stress, disappointments, uncertainty, difficult seasons. The difference is that their daily habits train their brain to process life differently. Joy is less about perfect circumstances and more about repeated mental and behavioral patterns. The encouraging part, habits can be learned and installed at any stage of life. Let's begin with the first powerful separator. 1. Joyful people practice daily gratitude. One of the clearest differences between joyful and non-joyful people is where their attention naturally goes. Non-joyful people often default to scanning for what's missing, what went wrong, what others have, what still isn't enough. Joyful people, on the other hand, intentionally train their attention toward what is already working. In The Happiness Advantage, Sean Achor explains that consistent gratitude practice can actually retrain the brain to notice positives more quickly and more frequently. Why gratitude is so powerful? Your brain has a built-in negativity bias. From an evolutionary standpoint, humans are wired to detect threats faster than blessings. That was useful for survival, but in modern life, it often keeps people stuck in low-level dissatisfaction. Gratitude works like mental counterweight training. Over time, it shifts your brain's scanning pattern. What joyful people actually do, they don't just feel grateful occasionally. They practice it deliberately. Common habits include writing down 3 things they're grateful for, reflecting on small daily wins, verbally appreciating people in their lives, pausing to notice ordinary good moments. Daily practice. Tonight, before bed, write down 3 specific things that went right today, no matter how small. Done consistently, this simple habit can significantly improve baseline mood over time. Another key difference is that joyful people don't rely on big life events to feel good. They don't wait for vacations, promotions, weekends, or external validation. Instead, they intentionally design small, daily positive rituals. This aligns strongly with the principles in Atomic Habits, where James Clear explains that repeated small actions shape long-term emotional and behavioral patterns. Why small rituals matter? Many non-joyful people unknowingly structure their lives around delayed happiness, always waiting for the next big moment. Joyful people flip the model. They create frequent micro-moments of positive emotion throughout their day. Examples of joy-building rituals. These are simple but powerful. Morning sunlight exposure, a short walk after meals, listening to uplifting music, 5-minute stretch breaks, brief social check-ins, celebrating small progress. These habits may look minor individually, but emotionally they compound. The key mindset shift: instead of asking, what big thing will finally make me happy, joyful people ask, what small habit can make today 5% better? That question changes everything. Joyful people protect their mental environment. Your emotional baseline is heavily influenced by what you mentally consume every day. Non-joyful people often expose themselves to constant mental clutter, endless negative news, social media comparison, notification overload, reactive information intake. Joyful people are much more intentional about their mental diet. What they do differently: they tend to limit doom scrolling, curate who they follow, take regular breaks from digital noise, choose uplifting or educational content, and create quiet thinking space. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about managing exposure so your nervous system isn't constantly in alert mode. The emotional cost of overload. When your brain is constantly flooded with alerts, comparisons, and negativity, your stress baseline rises, often without you realizing it. Joyful people reduce unnecessary cognitive noise. Reflection. Ask yourself honestly, does my daily information intake energize me or quietly drain me? Even small adjustments here can create noticeable emotional improvement. One of the most consistent findings in happiness research is this: strong relationships are one of the biggest predictors of long-term life satisfaction. Yet in modern life, many people unintentionally neglect this area. Non-joyful people often become chronically busy, socially isolated, digitally distracted, transactional in communication. Joyful people, by contrast, actively nurture meaningful connection. What they consistently do: they check in on people regularly, express appreciation openly, prioritize voice or face-to-face interaction, listen without rushing, maintain a few deep relationships, rather than many shallow ones. Why connection matters biologically. Positive social interaction helps reduce stress hormones, boost mood-related chemicals, increase resilience, and improve overall well-being. Connection is not optional for emotional health, it is foundational. Simple starting point. If you want to build this habit, start small. Send one thoughtful message or make one intentional call each day. Consistency matters more than grand gestures. Joyful people move their bodies regularly. This habit is often underestimated but incredibly powerful. Physical movement is one of the fastest ways to shift mood chemistry. Non-joyful people often remain sedentary for long stretches, which can lead to lower energy, increased stress, brain fog, and reduced emotional resilience. Regular physical activity releases endorphins, reduces anxiety, improves sleep quality, and enhances cognitive performance. And the best part? You don't need extreme workouts. Minimum effective movement habit. Start with daily walking, light stretching, short home workouts, or taking stairs when possible. The goal is consistency, not intensity. Even modest daily movement can noticeably improve emotional baseline over time. Joyful people reframe setbacks faster. Here is one of the biggest psychological separators. Joyful people are not immune to stress or disappointment. They simply recover emotionally faster. Non-joyful people often get stuck in rumination loops, replaying mistakes, assuming the worst, personalizing setbacks, staying emotionally hooked for too long. Joyful people practice cognitive reframing. What reframing sounds like internally. Instead of "everything is going wrong," they ask, "What can I learn from this? Is this temporary? What part of this is still in my control? Will this matter in a year?" This doesn't mean forced positivity or denial. It means flexible, resilient thinking. Important reminder: your first emotional reaction is human. Your second interpretation is a habit, and habits can be trained. This final habit is subtle but incredibly powerful. Joyful people intentionally give their future self something to anticipate. Non-joyful people often fall into repetitive survival mode: work, responsibilities, sleep, repeat. Joyful people plant small future positive markers throughout their calendar. Examples of future anchors include planning small trips or outings, scheduling social meetups, starting creative projects, setting meaningful goals, and learning new skills. Anticipation itself boosts motivation and dopamine levels in the brain. In other words, joy is not only about the present, it's also about positive expectation. Weekly joy question. Encourage viewers to ask every Sunday, "What am I genuinely looking forward to this week?" If the answer is nothing, that's valuable feedback and an opportunity to design something small but meaningful. Joy often requires intentional structure. Let's bring this home. Joyful people are not simply lucky, they are habit-trained. They practice gratitude consistently, build small daily positive rituals, protect their mental environment, invest in meaningful relationships, move their bodies regularly, reframe setbacks faster, and create things to look forward to. And the most encouraging part, every single one of these habits is learnable. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start small, stay consistent, let the changes compound quietly. Because over time, joy is less about what happens to you and more about what you repeatedly train your mind and body to do. Is this video added value to your day? Drop a comment and subscribe to Mindset Bloom for more practical growth content every week. Until next time, protect your peace, build your habits, and keep blooming.